Representative Omar.
I think a commissioned position is very different than what we are discussing today.
Representative Omar, I mentioned the fact that it's not just limited to commission. It's also for anybody that is demoted. So you can be in a regular job, not part of a commission situation, but if you're failing to perform, you'll get demoted, and then you get a pay cut.
What's up, everybody? Today I'm breaking down a house hearing where Representative Ilhan Omar strolled right into an economics buzzsaw. And the private sector hit back harder than a rubber check bouncing at the bank. She tried schooling actual business owners on how jobs and paychecks work. Spoiler, it turned into a brutal, real-world reality check. Before we jump in, do me a solid. Smash that subscribe button. Don't make me cut your views for slacking on engagement.
Representative O'Neill, I'm just wondering, are there... I was a union member for a long time, and I've also gotten an opportunity to work in the private sector. And I'm curious to know if you know of any employer that has a provision where they decrease pay for employees. I find that a little strange, and so I just wanted to know where that thought comes from, and if you know where an employee gets their pay decreased.
Representative O'Neill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, I was a business owner. I recently sold my share, so I don't own it anymore, but there are plenty of businesses out there, especially those that depend on employees' productivity, like I was in the trades. So I owned a company that was a tile setting company, and if we didn't get out there and do the work, and if I didn't have highly productive employees, they were paid based on their productivity. So if they had issues, it is very possible that their pay would reflect those issues. If they were on probation for something, for some sort of violation, that could be coordinated with a pay reduction. It's something that businesses do all the time, and it could be the step before someone is actually fired. So it's an important thing, and it gets people's attention, when they see it in their paycheck that their performance does not meet the standard.
Representative Omar.
Hudson, I think did you have something?
Madam Chair.
Mr. Hudson? Was there a question for Mr. Hudson?
No, I think he was saying that he wanted to add something, so I didn't know if he had something to add.
Mr. Hudson, is there a response to the question? Do you have a response to that question?
Madam Chair, yes, ma'am.
Are you saying that you aren't aware of any businesses that decrease pay? Because that was the question.
Madam Chair, I think what Chair O'Neill perhaps could be referring to, there are some instances where the pay structure is different. So for an example, she had indicated that she had come out of the towel industry. I'm not sure if these were commissioned employees who may have been on like an 80-20 split. In that instance, there is a situation where a pay might be reduced. Or if we have a supervisor who perhaps had a performance improvement issue or a behavioral concern, and we demoted this supervisor, that is an instance where pay might be decreased. But just an employee who has not been under some sort of performance improvement program, having their pay reduced, I've never heard of that.
Well, Mr. Hudson, I think Representative Neal knows exactly what she says. And I think we've had a little conversation back here when the question was asked. I know Representative Uglem, do you want to speak to that point?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Representative Omar, if you happen to be a salesman in this world, and you can be selling cars, you could be selling siding, you could be selling just about anything, and you are paid on commission. So if you don't sell anything, you don't make anything. So you can have good years, you can have bad years. Probably really one of the best examples is a real estate agent. So it's the idea that people can can make less money year to year, not to mention all the bonus situations that are out there in industry. It happens. It happens a lot. It doesn't necessarily happen, here in the public sector, but it's pervasive and very, very common in the private sector. Thank you.
And I'd like to add that in the private sector as well, people, if they are not performing at their job, get demoted, and with that demotion comes a pay cut. And that's not even related to being in a commission position, that's just in a regular position as well. Representative Omar.
I think a commissioned position is very different than what we are discussing today.
Representative Omar, I mentioned the fact that it's not just limited to commission. It's also for anybody that is demoted. So you can be in a regular job, not part of a commission situation, but if you're failing to perform, you'll get demoted, and then you get a pay cut with it.
Omar starts off asking if employers ever cut someone's pay when they screw up or perform like trash. She acts like it's some wild, bizarre concept, like she just spotted a UFO in the parking lot. The room goes dead quiet. Everybody staring like, did a sitting congresswoman seriously just ask that? I'm over here thinking, has she ever held a job outside government? Does she know what a boss even is? Then Representative Erin Houchin jumps in, with the fire of someone who's actually signed paychecks and lived the consequences. She breaks it down simple. Hell yes, if you're slacking, your pay can drop. That's how you light a fire under people who think they're paid just to warm a chair. Houchin basically schools Omar. In the real world, money follows results, not vibes or feelings. Omar still doesn't get it, so witness Scott Hudson steps up like a patient teacher dealing with a stubborn student. He explains straight, when someone gets demoted for tanking performance, their paycheck takes a dive too. Simple as that. You drop from manager to the guy who accidentally prints 400 copies of the same memo. Congrats. Your wallet just got demoted right alongside you. Hudson might as well have handed her a booklet. Welcome to planet Earth. Performance actually matters. Then another rep chimes in with real-life examples. Real estate, car sales, any commission gig. No hustle, no money. That's how businesses stay alive. Not by doling out participation ribbons. Houchin piles on. This happens even in straight salary jobs. Bad performance leads to demotion and a pay cut. End of story. Not rocket science, unless, apparently, you're Ilhan Omar. By this point, the vibe in the room is like a group project, where one person clearly didn't do the reading. Omar keeps digging in, insisting it's unusual, while actual business owners are sitting there like, lady, this is literally day one stuff. The more they explain basic reality, the worse she looks. She's out here arguing against everyday business practices, while real entrepreneurs are right in front of her going, ma'am, please, just stop. This hearing wasn't a debate. It was a live crash course in Economics 101, and Omar was the student who skipped class. The private sector doesn't pay you to breathe. It pays you for results. Bust your ass, earn more, phone it in, watch that check shrink. Simple as that. If you're fed up with politicians acting like real-world experience is optional, smash subscribe right now, before somebody tries to demote your common sense. More no BS truth bombs on the way. Stay locked in.